Okay. Many have run off with the Genesis 25:25 scripture where it says that Esau came out red. And we're going to get that real fast. Let's get that real fast. The book of Genesis chapter 25 verse 25. Because this is a bad confusion, okay, that is going on. And I would have to say this has been going on for far too long. Okay, Genesis 25:25. Okay, I'll take it from the 22nd verse, or maybe the 21st verse. And it says, Isaac entreated the Adonai for his wife, because she was barren, and the Lord entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. Verse 22, and the children struggled together within her. 2 nations are in thy womb. 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Verse 24, and when the days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, and the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Okay, we'll stop right there for a moment, okay? He came out red like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau, okay? Now, a lot of misconceptions about the red. You see, he came out red. He came out red. But where does it say that he was leprous? It just said he came out red. Now, if we just go to 1 Samuel, and we go to the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 16, verses 11 and 12, when it stated that when Samuel, the prophet Samuel, went to go to the house of Jesse, where the Adonai led him by way of spirit to go seek him out a king, and they brought out David. What was it described David looked like? It said David was ruddy and all good to look upon, right? Now, if you put the term ruddy and red together in definition, okay, in many of y'all that might have a Strong's Concordance dictionary or Bible, and you look up the term red and then ruddy, okay, it fits within the same definition and meaning, okay? It's reddish, it means reddish in complexion, okay? Reddish or hairy or reddish in complexion, okay? Now, ruddy and red, it fits in the same definition and term. Now, with that being said, would it be fair to say that, okay, King David was a so-called Caucasian? No, of course not. We know that's silly. We know that would be false. Okay, we know that David was a man of color or whatnot. You know what I mean? So, therefore, with that being said, go back to Esau and the red. Same definition, same thing. Okay, there's no difference. Okay, the red and the ruddy fits within the same definition. Okay, so it just said that he came out red all over. Boom. Right off the top of the bat, y'all thinking, oh, yeah, when white people, when they come out in the sun, and they're out there in the sun too long and the sun is burning them or whatnot because they can't take the sun and the rays of the sun, they start to burn and they become red. Okay, let's look at this for one moment. Okay, I didn't have this written down, but I'm going to go to the book of Leviticus real fast. I'm just going to go to the book of Leviticus chapter 13, starting from the 9th verse. Verse 12, and if the leprosy break out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy cover all the skin of him that hath the plague, from his head even to his foot, wheresoever the priest looketh. Verse 13, then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy hath covered all his flesh, and covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that hath the plague, it is all turned white. He is clean. Verse 14, but when raw flesh appeareth in him, he shall be unclean. Okay, so now it's saying that if a man, it breaks down the 2 forms of leprosy. There's a clean and unclean leprosy. Okay, now it didn't ever describe Esau in the beginning as being white in the flesh with raw rising in his flesh, that you can see the rawness through his white skin. It said that he was red. It said that he was red. Anytime in the scriptures, when the Most High breaks down anything or gives a description of anything in the scriptures, most of us know that the Most High always puts a face upon it. Okay? To the end, it never described Esau as being leprous. Esau was never described as leprous. He's always described as just being what? Red. Okay? Go again to King David, 1 Samuel, chapter 16, verse 11 and 12. If you want to say that, okay, Esau, he was being red, okay, he's a so-called white man, then why not make David the white man then?
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushua Bahashem Recha HaKwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to you, brethren, you fellow believers of this truth. Shalom to you other elders and brethren, and shalom to the, you followers. That includes some of you sisters, I'll say from time to time, and supporters of this truth, and shalom to the elect. So anyway, I got this video inspired by Elder Apostle Gabar on Daily Edification 4. He went into, this is like a re-edification, right? He went back over the true name of Esau, and then which he was lambacking off of Elder Apostle Tahar and Apostle Rumlup. So I saw this video, which I don't know if I did a video of him a while back, maybe on this topic or not, but I did go into commentary, and surprisingly the commentary confirms some of the stuff we say, some of it doesn't. Now, the problems with commentary, right, is pretty much its opinions, right, and translations. So you might have a scripture of, say, Revelation 1:15, and they'll break down his head. Well, his feet was like unto fine brass if they burned in the furnace, right? But then they'll look at other Hebrew translations where it says it's burning and glowing in the furnace. So what I decided to do, because this is what I like doing, I decided to go into some older Bibles, right, to get some more clarity on something we already know, but just more proof, right? So we want to go into Genesis, right, 25 and 25, because this guy here, he thinks he knows the truth, right? And a lot of these guys, they go off of other translations. And this is what a lot of Christians do when they come up to us, like Deuteronomy 28:68. They'll go to another Yiddish translation and break it down totally wrong. But we're going to go into Genesis 25 and 25, and then I'll get some commentary. It says the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So just to go back over this again, which we've done in the past, when you go to Genesis 25 and 25, this is why I'm sharing my screen. It says red all over like an hairy garment. It really had nothing to do technically with a garment. It was likened unto a description. The old English, the old Bibles will say likened unto this. Like the Messiah's hair was likened unto wool, right? It wasn't actually wool, but it was likened unto wool. Metaphoric in a sense, but a form of reality showing you what it looked like. Like his feet likened unto fine brass. No, it wasn't fine brass. Fine brass, by the way, refined brass is dark because it burns, right? As it burned in a furnace. The older Bibles of the Wycliffe Bible says as burned in a chimney, right? That's another argument, but I just wanted to bring that out. So when it says Genesis 25 and 25, it says the first came out red. And this is why they always say, hey, we do our research as well. And on me, they got the translation, it's totally off because it says red and ruddy. So, when you go to scholars and translations, they associated red with ruddy because ruddy sounds like red, but ruddy also comes from bloody. So when you look at that red, right, and then when you're looking at ruddy, this is why it says in Genesis 25 and 25, the first came out red all over, likened unto the hairy garment. And I believe Apostle Ramla went into that a little bit. I think Apostle Gabar did as well, talking about the hair of the sheepskin. They had other various translations or what they would compare that red to as well. From what our other translations or studies that I went into, but mainly like the sheepskin, things that was particularly red. One translation said like unto the red gate or something. I don't know, but they associated red and ruddy together, and that's far from the case. So this is why when we go down here and it gives you 2 Samuel 16 and 12, and it says, let me read this. This is what it says, and then we're going to go in some context with this. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy with all beautiful countenance. It just so happened that during the time of the 1800s, 1700s, with iconoclasm, universalism, right, theft, you know damn well they wasn't going to try to let us understand this stuff. Not to mention they told us we couldn't even read the Bible, knowing they was doing a lot of, I guess you want to say, plagiarism, you know, whatever they was doing with the scriptures, right? The Bible Destruction Group. Even before then, you had Martin Luther, who couldn't translate certain things. Anyway, it says he was ruddy, right? H132, they link it to the same thing, right? Red and ruddy. So now we got to find out if this is true. But first, I want to go into the commentary, right? I want to go into the commentary on this ruddy thing. I thought I had it up. Yeah, let me go to the commentary real quick. This is what the Elliott's commentary says. It says, all over like a hairy garment, all of him that is completely like a garment of hair. Right, so excuse my sinuses. I got sinus problems today. Anyway, it says like a hairy garment, right? Like a garment of hair. Words rendering is rough garment, right? As Zechariah 13 and 4, where it is used of the jacket of a sheepskin worn by the prophets. So they're telling you here, it had nothing to do with hair. His skin was like hairy, right? But it says, it appears therefore that Esau's body was entirely, right, covered with red down, okay, red, which developed into hair as coarse as that of a kid. So we can see that later on he started growing a lot of hair, right? That was more likely to, I mean, I'm no scientist, but that's a body, more natural defense of trying to have some form of protection because there's no melanin, right? So then all his hair has to grow to try to protect him, okay? It says Genesis 27 and 16, right? And this is where it says, and she put the skin of the kids of the goats, right, on his hands and on the smooth of his necks. So we go down here and I'm going to show you how translations differ. It says red like a hairy garment with hair all over his body, right, as if he had already been a grown man. There he goes. So you see two different, translations here, right? Because it was known that he was hairy, but that took time. But when he came out, he was red all over, likened unto a hairy garment, right? And honestly, if a baby comes out all hairy, right, like that, like they claim to say, that is still unhealthy. That would mean he would still have lack of pigmentation under that hair. Like if you shave an ape or a monkey, they're not going to have brown skin. That hair is there to protect them. No wonder they're called the cavemen. But anyway, let's go on down to Barnes. This is what the Barnes say. Different manifests. Esau the hairy, right? So I'm going to go over here. It says Esau was first reddish, i.e. a reddish brown color. Why did this translation say that? The Keel and deletes, and they normally do pretty good commentaries, but why did he say that? Because they mix 1 Samuel 16 and 12 with Genesis 25 and 25, where they understand that ruddy does not mean red. But what they did is they tried to bring red and brown together, right? And in a sense, you know what I'm saying, David just had a healthy complexion, right? He just had a healthy complexion, right? So we want to go to ruddy. But first I want to go, this guy also said, before I go to ruddy, this guy also said that he can't be Esau. But through process of elimination, the book of Obadiah, although he hijacked the eagle, but it shows the future prophecy of him setting the nest amongst the stars, right? He went into the caves, right? That's what Caucasian mean, cave dweller. And the story is that one of the rabbis said, I think it was a rabbi or one of them said that they went up into the mountains, right, to get away from the mosquitoes, right? And that's why they set everything up in New York. This is what was said. I don't know how true that is. I'm just saying allegedly. So because of the altitudes, when you don't have the protection like a tree bark or anything else to protect your skin, this is why Vietnam, they was getting destroyed, right? Because the blood shows through the skin. How is that healthy, right? Habakkuk 2:2. And the Lord answered me, and there's many scriptures on that. I'm just trying to make this, simple lesson. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon the tables, that he may run there that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but the end shall speak, right? And not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it shall surely come. It will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Yea, also he transgresseth by wine. He's a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, right, and as death, and cannot be satisfied. But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth him to him all people. There was only one nation of people that was able to gather all nations and all peoples. And starting with Antiochus Epiphanes and all the way on to this man now in the Western known world, this is who this is. This is who it is, right? He's the one going, this man tried to say it's the Arabs. You know why they say it's the Arabs? Because of Ashkenazi, right? And Japheth, right? But they don't understand that this man has went into other lands and conquered it and named it after themselves, right? Just like they'll call themselves American. When you look at the great white American who's done great things, you would call him an American. 500 years from now, which we know the world is not likely to be here, but in the future, let me say that, 50 years from now, 100 years, if that was the case, when you think of America, you'll be thinking of a white man. So you can't look at a nationality by a land, right? But by a lineage. And these people stole lineages. Well, the names of lineages, right? They call themselves Europeans. They'll call themselves Africans. They'll call themselves Americans. But they call us African and Americans. But the main places that they want to control, they'll call after themselves, right? Some of these places that was set up was really after us because we had the crown, right? But again, that's another video. We're going to go to Ruddy real quick. Where we at? Genesis 25. There's a reason why I didn't say that. There was a reason why it didn't say ruddy. Why did it say the first came out ruddy all over? Because we're going to show you the difference between. My whole point of this video was to show, right, the commentary, right? So let's go here. Where we at? We went through that. Yeah, we went through that. Yeah, here we go. H62. This is the actual word. It's supposed to be ashashia, right? Let me go back here. So it's ashash, which means wasted away. It means to fail. Like Isaac, it goes on to talk about in like an example. I think Apostle Rumlup gave, like, I believe it was Isaac who was going blind in his pupils. We got like melanin. We got the pupils dilate, right? And it starts to fail and you start losing the purity of your eyes because the body is wearing out, right? And that's failing, right? So this is what happened when you fail, right? So let's go to Genesis. Let me go to a couple of translations. John Wycliffe Bible, Genesis 25 and 25. I'm pulling this raw. I remember some of them. It says the first came out red, like a hairy garment, like all around. First came out reed all around in the manner of skin. See how it just changes things? Red all around in a manner of skin. And I don't even think it said, it didn't even say hairy. Right? It didn't even say hairy in this Bible of 1382. It didn't even say hairy. I didn't even know that. The Bible of 1539, this is what it says about David. When we read David in 1 Samuel 16 and 12, let's see what it says. And he sent and brought him in, and he was brown. This is why I went to that translation, because they understand this, right? What the hell does brown have to do with red, right? He was brown and of excellent beauty. I just wanted to say that. Now, don't get it twisted. You got people who call themselves red bones. They brown, reddish. But this red that you're talking about with Esau ain't nothing healthier. But let me pull this picture up. There's nothing healthy about this picture right here. There's nothing. How the hell is that healthy? We're going to get some more of that, right? The Bible of 1535, it says, then sent he and caused him to be brought, and he was well colored. Didn't they call us colored people when we was brought in captivity? And when that was the favorite, before I believe it was even Negro, they was calling us the coloreds. Or it was Negroes and then the colors. I'm not sure, one of them. Weren't they calling us that? But now when it fits the narrative that they want, the coloredness, I guess, is red. I don't know about that either, right? Let's get some other translations. I'm just scrolling through some of these translations. Ruddy, reddish, ruddy. You see a lot of ruddy complexion. Healthy, handsome appearance. Right? This is a Christian Standard Bible. Healthy. I got to pull this picture up. How in the hell is that healthy? This. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. If mosquitoes was around, he'd be tore up. Right? I don't know. So anyway, the other one says healthy, handsome. See, that's white supremacy. See, you gotta understand, some of our people look white too, right? Some babies are born very light and even reddish, right? You know, so my own son was born like that, white, like a light tint, but reddish, because they're new, their skin is new, right? But when you get that red, like it's blood red, like you almost have no skin. So he goes on to talk about, I almost forgot. He goes on to talk about the clean leper and unclean leper, right? And he talks about, what did he say? Why aren't we calling David red? And trying to remember what the heck he said. But he was talking about why wasn't Esau called leprous or something like that? Or why wasn't he called... why was he called white and leprous, white as snow? You gotta understand, when Esau was born, this is a different, like, you know, when Miriam was cursed white, her complexion was gone, but she still had skin, right? So she still had her skin tone, you know, as far as her skin thickness and everything was still intact, right? But this, and that's leprous, but this, which is also the same thing. Like I said, you have clean lepers. This is a baby that doesn't have the full skin yet, which will definitely show red, right? Definitely show red. Like if my melanin left me right now, I would have that white looking, albino looking skin because I have formed skin, right? But anyway, you have even white people say that. I had a white small hat tell me that. Like, come on, man. As far as our melanin. Anyway, says good looking boy, right? Got to go back here again. Is that a good looking boy? And let's say he was a nice looking man, but if he had that redness, healthy complexion, here we go to ISV. So he sent and brought him. He had a dark, healthy complexion. Dark, healthy complexion. You know, that's all we need to say. How do you get dark, healthy complexion, right, out of red? And like I said, through process of elimination, we understand through, and some of these Christians and white supremacists, you know what they'll say? They'll say, see, but God has told us to go into different lands. We were set up to conquer and do such and such. Yeah, but the Israelites was set up under an authority of order and morals to some degree. There was laws in place. But the iniquity of Esau, right, which means lawlessness, he had no laws in place. He went around the world and literally torched people, man, hung them on trees, castrated them. You know what I'm saying? Certain things that was unlawful, even according to, that was heinous. So we understand in Romans 9:11, he made a vessel for destruction. As Thessalonians 2 says, 1 Thessalonians, the son of perdition. He's the son of perdition. So if this man is the Israelites, as some white